Okay, reading a little bit more of Onward with Howard Schultz, the owner of the Starbucks company. I'm in a section where he's fired about 1,000 people. So we're talking about the economic downturn of 2008 or so. And it's not easy. It's a personal issue. People take getting fired personally. As much as they say it's not personal, it's for business sense to save the company. It's still affecting people's personal lives financially. If they had any plans to buy a house or family or whatnot, it's difficult for them to have to face that financial stress. So it seems to me a little bit like a war that causes refugees, like we're seeing in the out of the Syria and stuff. I mean, those guys are in an active war, but we get refugees from the economic downturns as well. But we don't call them refugees. They're just losers who got fired and picked over by the other better performing people. We don't call them refugees. They're the homeless, crazy people who can't get it together, who just their minds aren't there anymore. Maybe they got addiction problems, either from the stress of the competitive market, or who knows. But there are people who are displaced during the economic downturns, and of course, during the conquests, when the economy is doing better, the people are enjoying that as well. There's the ups and downs. There's no bloodshed, but there's definitely there's all the other aspects of a war in the economy when it's up and when it's down. You don't see the direct fighting, you don't see people shooting each other, but you do see the displaced families, you see the abandoned homes. I've seen plenty of abandoned homes around, people getting squeezed out peacefully, but still it's really similar to being in a war-ravaged country. It's just there's no dividing line, there's no place that they have to escape specifically, since this is such a global economy. There's pockets of economic strife. We see it a little bit we see it a lot of bit in Detroit. They're kind of like a war-ravaged, just living bare bones on their own. It's an economic type of war, and business owners can squeeze you out. I mean, just look at what McDonald's is doing with the touch screens for ordering your food now. They're squeezing out this $15 an hour wage that was legally promised by the states, by the city. It's a war. It's a price war, and people get squeezed out of this. So what do? My solution is just lower your standards in general. Don't really push for these high-paying jobs. Try to keep your head level. Look at the history of how America was formed. I mean, we could really sink low with how the farmers were living in dirt pits that they'd cover up with sod, or they'd use like sticks and cover up with sod. We can really sink low. It's just our expectations have raised a lot throughout the 1900s, and we seem to be in a perpetual downturn now. And I find it easier to climb a hill than to walk down it, both physically walking up and down a hill, and through the economy too. Like, I'm always looking forward, like I want to get this and I want to get that. Well, to to have to start saying I'm not going to get this and I'm not going to get that, that's a little more difficult. It takes a lot of mental spirituality. People get more religious in these times too. There's been statistics of how people will seek out the help from churches. I do with the food, because I can't buy my own pretty much anymore. I don't spend my own money because I'm fearful of my next accident. It'll wipe me clean. I'm at that point. But yeah, the economic downturn of Starbucks, they built up such a great culture, and maybe it's coming back now. I mean, I'm only reading this back when the economic downturn happened, and Howard became the CEO again. And it really bothers me that he's talking like using the CEO and the small caps. It might be in here, but he described being a CEO as too much responsibility for him. It's like him being like too much of a dictator. So he wanted to just lowercase the CEO words, and he said that not even really in a chapter. It's like in some kind of introductory page. Is in XIV. We've had lowercased all job titles. That's crazy. I mean, he's talking about taking control and having to be the leader, and he stepped down for a little bit, then came back. Yeah, I mean, he's doing everything a CEO does, yet he wants to. He thinks in his head that lowercasing the CEO title is going to make him look more like he's like a egalitarian or something, where everybody's equal type of business setting. But no, he's the guy who's making the decisions regardless of how he wants to spell his title. It's ridiculous. But that's the mentality of the guy. He's got a lot of good points though. But yeah, still business is very cutthroat. And yeah, throughout history, I mean, you look at the merchants. Merchants have usually been considered like a lower class type of people, like a middle class, not exactly real low class, but they're considered kind of expendable in a way. So that's what's going on in today's service economy is we got a lot of expendable people, and these people who demand these high wages doing this service work. It's and it's saying that the rich people can afford it. Well, it's a war. I mean, the rich people had things up their sleeves before they agreed to this $15 an hour wage, as like for example with McDonald's. But I'm a little surprised, at the grocery stores, they're not really using a lot of the self-checkouts. Not as much as I expected to over the past 8 years or so. I'm gonna end this.